Life is gonna hit you in the mouth. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. And the question is not, will you fall? The real question is, do you have the resilience to get back up stronger, sharper, and more focused than before? Because resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about refusing to stay down. Everybody wants to be strong. Everybody wants to be great. But the moment pain shows up, most people run. You think pain came to punish you, but pain came to teach you. Pain came to reveal what's inside of you that comfort could never expose. Comfort hides your strength, but pain brings it to the surface. Comfort keeps you soft, but pain forces you to grow. Pain is not your enemy, it's your instructor. Some of you are asking for success without struggle, for progress without problems, for elevation without pressure. That's not how it works. You can't have growth without growing pains. You can't have strength without resistance. You can't build endurance without fatigue. The very thing you're trying to run away from is the very thing shaping you into who you need to be. Think about it. When you go to the gym, you don't grow because the weights are easy. You grow because they're heavy. Your muscles tear, they ache, they burn, but that pain is not destroying you. It's building you. Life works the same way. Every loss, every heartbreak, every rejection, every failure, it hurts. But it's not there to break you, it's there to build you. Stop asking, why me? When the pain comes, stop crying as if the world is against you. Pain doesn't show up to hold you back, it shows up to push you forward. And pain is proof that you are still in the fight. Pain is the reminder that you haven't given up yet. If you're feeling pain, that means you're still alive, you're still trying, you're still pushing. The grave is painless, but it's also powerless. The living feel pain, and the living still have purpose. Some of you let pain stop you when it was meant to teach you. You got hurt one time, and now you don't want to love again. You failed one time, and now you don't want to try again. You trusted someone, and they betrayed you, so now you don't trust anybody. You took the test and didn't pass, so now you don't even want to study. You're misinterpreting the lesson. Pain doesn't mean stop. Pain doesn't mean quit. Pain means pay attention. Pain means grow stronger. Pain means you just entered the classroom where greatness is taught. Every champion, every leader, every success story is written in the ink of pain. The ones you admire didn't get there without scars. They didn't make it without losses. They didn't rise without struggle. They sat in the same classroom you're in right now, and they listened when pain spoke. The difference is they didn't run from it. They leaned into it. They learned the lesson. Pain will teach you patience. Pain will teach you focus. Pain will teach you gratitude. Pain will teach you how to value what you once took for granted. Pain will teach you how to work when you don't feel like working. Pain will teach you that tears don't mean weakness. They mean you're still fighting. Pain will teach you that storms don't last forever, but while they rage, you have the power to endure. Stop treating pain like an intruder and start treating it like a professor. Stop seeing it as a thief and start seeing it as a mentor. Pain doesn't come to take from you, it comes to give to you. It gives you strength you didn't know you had, endurance you didn't think you'd develop, wisdom you couldn't have gained any other way. If you embrace pain as your teacher, you'll realize every struggle is a lesson, every wound is wisdom. Every setback is education. Pain is not the enemy you thought it was. Pain is the coach pushing you to levels you would never reach on your own. Pain is the teacher writing lessons on your soul that no classroom, no textbook, no lecture could ever give you. Falling down is not failure. Staying down, that's failure. Life is going to knock you off your feet. It's going to hit you harder than you expected. And sometimes it will hit you back before you even recover from the last blow. The question is not if you will fall. The question is how fast are you going to get back up? Resilient people don't just rise, they rise quickly. They don't stay down. They don't soak in the dirt. They don't keep replaying the mistake over and over again. They bounce back faster because they understand that every second you spend lying down is a second you could have been moving forward. Some of you are still on the ground from something that happened years ago. You're still crying over who left you. You're still replaying the failure that humiliated you. You're still stuck on the test you didn't pass, the business that didn't work, the opportunity that slipped through your hands. You've been down for too long. It's not that you can't get up. It's that you haven't decided to. And the longer you stay there, the heavier it feels to rise. The bounce gets harder the longer you delay. Bounce back faster. Get up immediately. When you fall, don't waste time explaining to everybody why you're on the ground. Don't go running around telling people how bad it hurt. Don't go crying to the world asking for sympathy. Get up. People who win don't have time for self-pity. They know every moment matters, and the quicker they rise, the quicker they recover their momentum. Failure doesn't define you, delay does. The people who make it to the top are not the people who never fail. They are the people who refuse to let failure keep them down. They fail, but they fail forward. They stumble, but they stumble into progress. They get hit, but they use the hit as fuel to rise higher. They're back on their feet so quickly that the world barely has time to notice they fell. When a boxer gets knocked down in the ring, he doesn't lay there and argue with the referee. He doesn't sit there thinking about how embarrassing it is. He doesn't close his eyes and wait for the count to finish. He fights to his feet. He gets up before the count of 10 because he knows staying down means defeat. That's how you have to treat life, like you're in the fight of your life and every second matters. You can't afford to waste days, weeks, or months lying in the dirt. You can't afford to stay brokenhearted forever. You can't afford to let one rejection hold you hostage. Bounce back faster, shake it off, and keep moving. The longer you rehearse the pain, the deeper it takes root. The faster you get up, the less control it has over you. Don't misunderstand. Bouncing back faster doesn't mean you didn't feel the pain. It doesn't mean you weren't hurt. It doesn't mean you didn't cry. It means you refuse to let pain become paralysis. It means you refuse to let failure become your identity. It means you decided that the hit will not define you. Your response will. The world is not watching how many times you fall. It's watching how many times you rise. Your kids, your family, your friends, they don't need to see you broken. They need to see you bounce. They need to see you get back up so they know it's possible to survive their own hits. Your bounce is not just for you, it's for everybody connected to you. The faster you get up, the more unstoppable you become. Because when life realizes it can't keep you down, it loses its power over you. When setbacks can't stop you, when rejection doesn't paralyze you, when failure doesn't scare you, you become dangerous. You become untouchable. You become relentless. Bounce back faster because time is precious. Bounce back faster because your purpose can't wait. Bounce back faster because every second you spend on the ground is a second you could have been building, grinding, healing, growing. You're going to fall, but you don't have to stay there. The strength is not in avoiding the fall. The strength is in the speed of your rise. The biggest battle you will ever fight is not with your boss, not with your competition, not with your environment, and not even with your circumstances. The biggest battle you will ever fight is with the voice in your own head. That inner voice can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. It can push you into greatness or it can bury you in defeat before you even take your first step. The problem is most people let that inner voice run wild. They let it talk them out of opportunities, talk them out of discipline, talk them out of resilience. That voice whispers, "You're not good enough. You're not strong enough. You failed before. You'll fail again." And because it's your own voice, you believe it. You need to understand that resilience doesn't begin with muscles. It doesn't begin with toughness on the outside. It begins with mastery on the inside. If your mind is weak, your body will follow. If your inner voice is negative, your actions will mirror it. That's why some people never recover from failure. It's not because they don't have potential. It's because the voice inside convinced them to stay down. You have to train that voice. Just like you train your body, just like you train your skills, you've got to discipline your thoughts. When that voice says, "Quit," you've got to tell it, "No, keep going." When that voice says, "You can't," you answer, "I can." When that voice says, "You're not built for this," you declare, "I was made for this." You've got to dominate the conversation in your head because if you don't, it will dominate you. Some of you have let your inner voice bully you for years. You've allowed it to tell you to settle for less. You've allowed it to tell you that average is acceptable. You've allowed it to convince you that your best days are behind you. That voice is lying. You've been listening to the wrong teacher. The moment you take control of your inner voice is the moment you take control of your life. When you wake up in the morning, that voice will give you options. Hit snooze or get up, waste time or grind, doubt yourself or trust yourself. Every day, your future is being shaped by which voice you decide to obey. The easy voice says, rest, you've done enough. The weak voice says, don't try, you might fail. But the resilient voice, the disciplined voice, the voice of greatness says, get up, push harder. This is your time. Which one are you listening to? You can't stop the thoughts from coming, but you can stop yourself from obeying them. You can't silence every negative whisper, but you can turn up the volume of faith, of discipline, of courage. You feed the inner voice you listen to most. If you keep rehearsing negativity, if you keep focusing on failure, that voice will grow louder. But if you start speaking power, speaking truth, speaking resilience, that voice will drown out the fear. The world outside doesn't have to believe in you, but the voice inside you better believe. Because when everything collapses, when friends walk away, when people doubt you, the only thing left to carry you through is the belief in your own soul. If you don't control that voice, you'll always depend on others to validate you. But when you do control it, you become unstoppable. You don't need applause. You don't need permission. You don't need validation because you've already won the battle inside. There will be moments when you're tired, when you're broken, when you're tempted to give in, and that voice will rise again. In those moments, resilience is not about pretending you don't hear it. It's about answering back louder. It's about saying, I know it hurts, but I'm not quitting. I know I'm tired, but I will keep pushing. I know it's tough, but I am tougher. That's what resilience sounds like. Not silence, not surrender, but self-mastery. Control the inner voice because it shapes your destiny. The mind will quit long before the body does. But if the mind refuses to break, the body will follow. Everybody wants to shine like a diamond, but nobody wants the process that makes a diamond. Diamonds are not born in comfort. Diamonds are not created in soft places. Diamonds come from extreme pressure, from intense heat, from conditions so harsh that ordinary material would crumble. Pressure doesn't destroy a diamond, it makes it. And the same is true for you. Pressure is not there to break you. Pressure is there to reveal the power inside you. See, everybody loves the glory, but they hate the grind. They want the success story, but not the suffering that comes before it. They want to stand in the light, but they don't want to walk through the dark. But you cannot have the crown without the cross. You cannot have greatness without the grind. You cannot have strength without the struggle. It's the pressure that transforms you. Think about it. Your strongest muscles didn't come from resting. They came from resistance. Your deepest lessons didn't come from peace. They came from pain. Your most defining moments didn't happen when everything was easy. They happened when everything was heavy. Pressure pulls out of you what comfort could never demand. Pressure creates urgency. Pressure makes you focus. Pressure forces you to dig deep. Some of you are in a season right now where you feel crushed. You feel like the weight of life is sitting on your chest. You feel the heat of struggle, the pressure of responsibility, the stress of expectations. You're asking, why me? Why is this happening to me? But you're asking the wrong question. The question is not, why me? The question is, what is this pressure producing in me? Because if you survive this season, you won't be the same person. You'll come out sharper, stronger, wiser, more powerful. Pressure teaches you what you're made of. Pressure exposes whether your foundation is weak or strong. Pressure shows you whether you're built on excuses or built on endurance. Without pressure, you would stay average. Without pressure, you would remain ordinary. But with pressure, you rise to levels you didn't even know you had inside you. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Don't try to numb it. Lean into it. When life applies pressure, don't fold, push back. Don't say, this is too much for me. Say, I was built for this. Don't pray for the pressure to disappear. Pray for the strength to endure it. Because on the other side of pressure is power. On the other side of crushing is creation. On the other side of struggle is strength. Look at every champion in history. They were not created in comfort. They were not made in ease. They were forged in fire. They endured pressure that would have crushed most people, but instead of collapsing, they converted it. They turned pressure into performance. They turned pain into power. Pressure will either make you or break you, but the choice is yours. Some people let it crush them. They give up, they quit, they walk away. Others use it as fuel. They let the weight train them. They let the fire refine them. They let the struggle shape them. That's the difference between those who dream and those who do. Their response to pressure. So when the heat comes, when the weight feels unbearable, when the pressure feels like it's too much, remember this, it's not there to destroy you, it's there to develop you. Pressure is not proof of weakness. Pressure is proof of potential. You don't apply pressure to things that have no value. Nobody presses on what's worthless. If you feel the weight, it means there's worth inside you. The storm, the struggle, the weight, the pressure, it's not punishment, it's preparation. It's shaping you into something stronger than you were yesterday. It's building a version of you that could never exist without it. Too many people live their entire lives controlled by feelings. They wake up only if they feel like it. They work only when they feel motivated. They grind only when it's convenient. And the moment their emotions shift, their actions collapse. That's why so many dreams die. Not because people didn't have the talent, not because they didn't have the opportunity, but because they allowed emotions to dictate their effort. If you want resilience, if you want success, if you want to keep going when life is tearing you apart, you cannot be a slave to feelings. You need discipline. Discipline is doing it whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is waking up when the alarm goes off, not when your body gives you permission. Discipline is pushing through the workout even when your muscles are screaming for you to quit. Discipline is showing up to study, to work, to grind when every emotion in your body is saying, take a break. Your emotions want comfort, but discipline craves growth. Your emotions want relief, but discipline is chasing results. Some of you are waiting for a magical wave of motivation to carry you through the hard seasons of life. You're waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity. But discipline doesn't wait, it acts. Discipline is consistent when motivation is inconsistent. Discipline is stable when emotions are unstable. Discipline is the anchor that keeps you steady when life is throwing waves at you. Resilient people don't win because they always feel strong. They win because they act strong even when they feel weak. They don't wait until their emotions line up with their goals. They push forward regardless. Discipline says, I will not negotiate with my feelings. I will not let temporary emotions determine my permanent future. Think about it. How many times have you quit because you didn't feel like continuing? How many times have you lost momentum because your emotions told you it was too hard, too painful, too much? And every time you listen, you gave your power away. Every time you listen, you let your emotions rob you of progress. But the moment you decide discipline runs your life, you take that power back. When the alarm clock rings, emotions tell you to stay in bed. Discipline says, get up. When rejection hits, emotions tell you to give up. Discipline says, try again. When the pressure mounts, emotions tell you it's too much. Discipline says, push harder. The difference between people who quit and people who finish is not the level of pain, it's the level of discipline. Discipline is what makes you dangerous because it makes you consistent. Anybody can grind for a day, for a week, even for a month, but discipline keeps you grinding year after year. Discipline makes sure you keep swinging even when you're tired. Discipline makes sure you keep running even when you don't see results. Discipline makes sure you keep climbing even when the mountain looks endless. Your emotions will betray you. They'll tell you it's okay to skip today. They'll tell you you've done enough. They'll tell you you're not capable of more. But discipline will always tell you the truth. Discipline will tell you you can go further. You can dig deeper. You can outlast this. When you live by discipline, you stop being controlled by the ups and downs of life. You stop being tossed around by moods and feelings. You become steady, unshakable, relentless. That's what resilience is. Not never feeling pain, but never letting pain decide for you. Not never feeling weak, but never letting weakness stop you. Not never feeling fear, but never letting fear control you. Discipline is the weapon that carries you through when emotions abandon you. It is the key that unlocks consistency, and consistency is what leads to greatness. Every champion you admire, every success story you look up to, every person you see at the top of the mountain has one thing in common. They've all been knocked down. They've all faced seasons where nothing worked, where the doors slammed shut, where failure laughed in their face. But here's the difference. They didn't see their setbacks as the end. They saw them as the setup for a greater comeback. Life will knock you down. That's not a maybe, that's a guarantee. You're going to face rejection. You're going to hear no. You're going to have doors closed. You're going to have people betray you. And sometimes you're even going to fail yourself. But the setback is not the final chapter. The setback is the soil where the seed of your future gets planted. Think about it. If a seed never went underground, if it never got buried in darkness, if it never faced pressure, it could never grow. What feels like a burial is actually a planting. What feels like the end is really the beginning of something new. Your failure, your disappointment, your heartbreak, they are not graves, they are gardens. You've been planted, not buried. And if you don't quit, you're going to rise again. Most people quit in the middle of their setback because all they can see is the pain. They don't realize pain is a process. They don't realize struggle is shaping them. They don't realize failure is refining them. Setbacks strip away comfort, and comfort was the thing holding you back in the first place. The setback forces you to look deeper, to think harder, to fight stronger. Without the setback, you would have stayed ordinary. With the setback, you are forced to grow extraordinary. The truth is, you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. The storm may come, but will you sink or will you swim? The door may slam shut, but will you stop knocking or will you build your own door? The people may walk out, but will you cry over who left or celebrate who stayed? That's the power of perspective. A setback is either your excuse to quit or your reason to push harder. Look back at your own life. Think about the times you thought you were finished, the times you thought you couldn't make it through. Didn't you survive? Didn't you grow stronger? Didn't you come out wiser? That's proof right there that setbacks don't stop you. They shape you. And if they shaped you then, they'll shape you now. Some of the greatest success stories were born in seasons of failure. People lost businesses, lost relationships, lost everything. And in that loss, they found clarity. They found hunger. They found a new path. The pain became the platform. The rejection became the redirection. The breakdown became the breakthrough. But here's the catch. You've got to stop seeing setbacks as punishments. They are preparations. Life isn't trying to hurt you. It's trying to harden you. Life isn't trying to stop you. It's trying to strengthen you. That delay, that denial, that defeat, it wasn't the end of the road. It was a detour leading you to something bigger. The difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck is simple resilience. Resilient people don't see a wall and stop. They see a wall and figure out how to climb it. They don't see a closed door and cry. They see a closed door and build a new one. They don't see a failure and fold. They see a failure and flip it into fuel. Setbacks are setups for comebacks, but only if you refuse to give up. Only if you decide the story doesn't end here. Only if you believe that this pain has purpose, that this season has meaning, that this moment is building you into the version of yourself that you've been chasing all along.